Today, I'm so excited to welcome our special guest, Matt Diamante. Did I get that right?
You did.
At digital marketing. Matt runs HeyTony, a digital marketing agency specializing in SEO. And for those of you that maybe are a little bit like me and don't know what that means, it's short for search engine optimization. And Matt's here to help us unleash the power of digital optimization to take your business to the top of the charts. I'm so excited that he's agreed to join us. I'm Karen Laws, the Ontario dog trainer, host of the Paws and Profits podcast, where we help you unleash your inner entrepreneur to fuel your passion. So let's dive in. Welcome, Matt. I'm so excited that you're here.
Yeah, I'm very excited as well. Also considering we have two dogs and we've gone through dog trainers, a couple of them. It's really great to talk to somebody who's like top of the top, cream of the crop. So that's great. I love this. I'm hoping to learn something. Maybe I can teach my dog a new trick or correct a bad behavior.
Well, you know what? One our tagline is: we don't believe there's any bad dogs; they're just confused dogs, and it's up
I
to
thought you
you.
were going to say there's only bad owners.
No, because you know what? Nobody's bad deliberately. Nobody
Yeah.
does things wrong on purpose. And you know, the law. I've been doing this business for 20 years, and every day I learn new things from people, how hard they're trying, and often it's that 6 degrees of separation, right? You
Yeah.
start off just a little bit off, and then away you go. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here
No.
to talk about what you offer. And
Yeah.
I have, I'm really enthralled at your TikTok videos and your Instagram videos. They make SEO seem like fun. Tell us a little bit about why it's important.
Oh my God. So Google is obviously it's the biggest search engine in the world. People know that, but I don't think people understand the volume of information people are looking for on a daily basis. I don't know the exact number, but there's like billions of searches done on a daily basis of people trying to solve a problem, people trying to find a service or a product that they're looking for. And if you're not playing that game, somebody else is playing the game and they're making a lot of money. And it's even more frustrating. So for us right now, this is like a whole side tangent, but we're doing a bunch of renovations in our house and we need to find a stonemason. And where I live, they're not really doing much on Google. So we're depending on referrals, asking friends, asking family, like people walking down the street, hey, do you know like a stonemason to do some work for us? And it's hard to find that person. So you're not only doing yourself a disservice if you're not trying to show up on Google, you're doing potential people looking for your service a disservice.
Interesting. When you say stonemasons, they're like often like back of truck type of guys. You know,
Yeah.
they small business. There's maybe, you know, Bob and Joe, the two brothers that are good at working with stones and putting, you know, building things out of stone. So they don't
Yeah.
see the need for it. And it's very similar to dog trainers. There's dog trainers on every corner. Trust me,
Yeah.
you probably have 3 or 4 in your neighborhood you've never heard of. Now
Yep.
they wouldn't likely be as effective or as good as the one that you had for your dogs, but
Yep.
how do you know, and how do they help you to know?
Yeah. And that's the thing
And
too. Sorry, I was just gonna say that's the thing as well. Like if you have a Google business profile, you're going to be a local business. So you're going to have a Google business profile. People can leave reviews for you there. And you should be asking every single client, hey, did we help you correct your dog's behavior? Or is your dog like doing something better, whatever? If they are, you know, we'd love to have a review from you on our thing. And if we totally sucked, leave us a review as well. Like you can't really discriminate against what type of review you get. But the way that you handle those reviews publicly is going to tell a lot about who you are as a person, as a dog trainer. So, for example, if it's only 5-star reviews, that's really great. Somebody's going to come there and be like, okay, this dog trainer is really reputable. Look at what all these people are saying, like all these nice things. And if you get a couple negative reviews peppered in there, like 1 star, you know, my dog still pees on the couch, or my dog still barks, you know, when the mailman comes or whatever, that's totally fine. You can respond to that comment in like a polite way with offering additional support. So it's like, hey, you know, so sorry you're still having that issue and, you know, that behavior is not corrected. Have you taken a look at our additional resources that you can find on our YouTube channel, or, you know, a PDF or whatever it is? We're happy to jump on a call and find out more information. So that shows potential people who want to hire you that you're not just leaving them to go when the job is done. Once the training's done, you can still offer some kind of support, even if it's a pre-recorded video or whatever it is, or like homework tasks for them to do.
So is a Google review or a Google page the only thing that's helpful? Do they need it? For example, I often hear people ask, if I have a Google page, do I need a website?
Yes. So you do need a website, although I will say we've also been looking for a fireplace, so a gas fireplace. And I've been going through Google profiles, like Google business profiles, looking for, a fireplace company nearby. And not most, a lot of the time, they don't have a website or there's no link to a website. I'm like, I want to look at fireplaces, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if somebody wants to look at like what types of dog training services you do, like having a website with all of that information on it is going to make it a lot easier for somebody to figure out if they want to hire you or if you're the right fit. And that'll also help you eliminate anybody or taking any calls or getting random calls for people like, hey, do you do this kind of thing? And if you don't, they already know about it on your website. Here's what we do. You're like lowering the amount of non-qualified calls that you're getting.
And a lot of businesses, I mean, dog training is key to that. Most dog trainers don't have time to talk on the phone. And I've seen on some of the groups, Facebook groups, social media groups, we don't have time to answer the phone. People keep calling and calling, but if you have a website, you can direct them to the website. But
Yeah.
how does that help that helps manage their phone volume. But when they do just a website, is that enough? What are some of the key things that people need in a website to be seen and found and easily located?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of technical things that you need to do in terms of like using the right heading tags and title tag and meta description. If any of this sounds foreign to you, I will try to explain it a little bit easier. Yeah.
Language.
So, for example, the title tag, when you Google something or when you search something on Google, you'll get the listing. There's usually a blue link, and that's a title there. That is your title tag. That tells people what the page is about. And then there's usually a couple sentences underneath that describes a little bit more about what somebody's going to find on that page. So it's like a preview to what's they're going to find there. And that's your meta description. So your title tags, that big blue title, and then the meta description underneath that gives you a little bit more information about that page. So having those two things, like that's like the billboard for your business on Google is your title tag and meta description. If you don't have proper if you're not using the keyword in there, if you're not describing what you do or what that page is about, it's not a good billboard, right?
Okay.
So that's some of the technical stuff.
I'm going to ask a question like a 7-year-old here. I've heard that's the way to get real information in.
Yeah, let's do it.
What is it? So what should be included in a meta description? So when I hear meta description, I think of Meta, the new name for what used to be Facebook.
Yeah.
What is a meta description? What would be an example, or what are some of the things I'm thinking from a dog trainer's perspective here, and not that we're all simpletons, but it's simple is better because we're talking to people who need simple descriptions. So we tend to think in those terms. What is meta description?
Yeah. So let's just use an example. What's a behavior that you'd want to correct?
Jumping up.
Jumping up. Okay. So the title of the page is how to get your dog to stop jumping up, right? That's the title of the page. That's the blue text. In the meta description, you could have something like, we can teach you in 6 weeks on how to get your dog to stop jumping up when visitors come over, when you pull out something from the fridge, yada, yada, yada. We have an intensive 6-week program. That's like a very, that could be written a lot better, but that's just off the cuff. So you're describing more about what's on the page. So people, when they're reading that, like that's the billboard and they can click on the billboard. So if your billboard is more enticing than the person who ranks number 1 or number 2, then that's going to help you climb up because people are going to maybe skip those and click right onto yours.
So what would be some of the key things that would make it more enticing? Because it's pretty easy to use the word for the behavior or for whatever target there is, but because if everybody does that, then wouldn't everybody be sort of in the same thing? How do you get it to jump up? How do I stand out? If I'm the best dog trainer in the province and nobody knows me, or bigger than that, and nobody knows me, how do I stand out with any business? What's the key thing? How do you find your unique skill, or do I have to have some special thing? Like a lot of dog trainers popped out of the woodwork during COVID.
Yep.
Because they didn't want to work anymore. They didn't want to work their job anymore. They thought, man, life's too short here. That's what the pandemic opened a lot of eyes. So they want, and they've always had a passion for dogs. Maybe they have a natural skill to, get dogs to like them and work with them. But that speaks to, the 1,000 dog trainers that might be in your city.
Yep.
How does that one stand out?
So the way that you can showcase that you stand out is actually on the website. So first you have to get somebody to click. And to get somebody to click, you need to be answering the question that they're looking for, or providing them the information. So if you're saying it could be how to get your dog to stop jumping up, or it could be stop your dog from jumping up training. Like there's a bunch of variations, and you could say it in a bunch of different ways. One's going to be more compelling than the other, and one might rank higher than the other just because you're using the keyword closer to the start, or you're using more of the keyword or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so more like opening the sentence or very close to the beginning of jumping up of the sentence of the opening paragraph.
Yeah.
Is jumping up an issue with your dog or something of that sort? So it comes in right at the beginning.
I wouldn't even pose it as a question. I would say, here's how to get your dog to stop jumping up.
Good.
Or dog jumping up, here's what to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what other, and I'm not saying that dog trainers have websites. There's all kinds of do-it-yourself platforms to create your own website, and a lot of people who do it on their own. So those are pretty important tips. What other ways are there to be seen or to get Google to recognize them in addition to the website?
So in addition to the website, you have your Google business profile, which you should make sure that you're uploading literally not all the same information, but the different types of services that you offer. So if one and I'm going to say one of the service is obviously dog training, one could be jump up training, like whatever the actual keyword is for that, that would be a different service that I would say make sure that's on your Google business profile. If you sell products as well, like I know we got those, I don't know the proper name for it, but it's the leash that goes around the neck and then it comes around the nose for more control. I'm not sure what the name is, but we bought those from our dog trainer and we can't find them anywhere else. And we got 2 cats and they peed on them and we're trying to get the smell out because we can't find them anywhere. So that's a whole thing. Maybe you can help me, Karen, get some of those after this podcast. But
I sell them. I know this too. Yeah.
If you have products on your website that are tailored to dogs, like adding that stuff onto your Google business profile will definitely help. You should also have those products listed on your website. You don't need to set up an online shop or anything like that. You can sell them, like if somebody wants to send you an e-transfer, if somebody wants to pay you by credit card, however you want to do it, you can set that up in your own way. If you're a dog trainer, you likely send out invoices and can process some kind of payment. So you can do it in that way. If you really want to go, all out, you can set up an online store and let the payment process automatically. And then, you get the order and you ship it out. Like you can do that as well, but that's a little bit more advanced unless you're using something like Shopify, which I would not recommend for a dog trainer unless you plan on selling a lot of products instead of a lot of training.
That's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up. That's a whole other discussion. Honestly, It's a whole other discussion. So we don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. But thanks for pointing that out, because I've often had that question. Should I just set up a Shopify? But I'll be honest with you, I would rather train dogs than pack product to send it in a box to send off to people. The products that I and many dog trainers sell, you have them on your site. They're like a Max Milk store, they're convenience. They're sometimes the one of a kind, like your dog trainer had with that special leash. So you just have it there for your convenience. But what are the...
Sorry, I like how you brought up Max Milk, which doesn't exist anymore. Like, I love that. You should have just called it Becker's, if anything.
Becker's,
right?
Dollarama, or what used to be called the dollar store, Bargain Harold's. All those things that are no longer. I dated myself a little bit. For a while. So what are the top 5 most important things that a new dog trainer would need to to get started, to be found?
Okay,
to be found digitally, because we can be, in the old days, I'll just give you some context. When I started 20 years ago, even in the last 5 years, social media has occupied such a niche in our lives, that you can still go to networking events and hand out business cards and, put up flyers in grocery stores. That was the only way when I started, and now it's evolved. So what are the top 5 things? Because I still struggle with this, having my head in as you said, in the Max Milk corner.
Yeah.
What? So how do we get out of that? And what are the top
Yeah.
5 things we need to do, know and do to improve our digital marketing?
Okay, so that's a huge, huge question. So we're already talking about Google and SEO. That's one side of it. The other side is the social media and video platform side of things. There's a lot you can do there. I've seen a lot of success posting videos and reels and TikToks about search engine optimization and digital marketing. And like it's not high production or anything like that, but what you can do, and I know this isn't a list of 5 things. I'm going to try to break it down into a different list. So the first thing, you need a website, you need a Google business profile, and if you really want to stand out, social media. The thing that social media does is it will show people your personality. It'll show them your skill set, without you having to sell them anything. So if people are seeing a lot of videos of you on TikTok or Instagram, YouTube, whatever platform, if they're seeing these videos and they can see that you're a kind, gentle person, you're patient with the owner, you're patient with the dog, and you can see the evolution of a dog doing a trick or whatever it is, that's going to like really shine through and separate you from your competition. And the good thing is you can embed those videos on your website. So if somebody's going through, they haven't seen you on social media, they can come to your website and say, oh, I really like how this person handles themselves around dogs, or this trainer only works with pit bulls, and look how like docile these pit bulls are. Like, look how well behaved they are. So if you want to go into like a niche specialty of a certain type of dog, like that will really separate you, even if it's, if your entire website's about, we train golden doodles how to be the best dogs that they can be. Like, don't get me wrong, golden doodles are like probably one of the easiest dogs to train. And I don't know that, I'm just making an assumption because they're so nice and so gentle and so floppy. But yeah, so like that's one of the ways you can separate yourself. And when making this content for social media, Google actually really likes when somebody comes to a website and they can find pictures and text and video all on the same page, because that's reinforcing even more so that you know what you're doing. You're an expert in your field. You have the authority to talk about this, right?
I've never thought about the video part in a website, because
Yeah.
once again, that's a tech thing that is out of my league. Thankfully, I have a great team that helps with that. But how I know. So video, let's go down that for a little bit. How do you
Yeah.
like video? So let's talk about video. A lot of trainers do a lot of video, and some of them don't
Yeah.
know how to walk and talk. Like they have a hard time to focus because they want to train the dogs. So doing videos a little bit extra. So
Yeah.
and thinking in the website to me seems like a foreign language. Can you but yeah, it's social proof, and social proof is
Yeah.
important, right? Is there an easy way to do that?
For embedding it
You
on the
embed
website.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's
I
so
know
easy.
seems like a
Yeah.
ridiculous question, but I'm
It's
going, oh
no,
my
it's not a ridiculous question. Like if you've never done it before, of course you're like, oh my God, is there code? Do I have to do something? Most of the
God.
time, I know with WordPress, especially, you can just take the link, the link in the search bar, take that and paste it onto your page, and it will pop up the video for you. So you don't even have to do any code. It does that
Oh,
automatically because it knows if you have a YouTube link there, for example, it's going to populate the YouTube link. It doesn't always
okay.
work 100% perfect, but YouTube has embed code that you can just grab and just not edit anything and just paste that on your
Yes,
website.
yes. I have seen
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I do know that language. Okay. All right. Interesting. Hmm. What other things do we need to know? See, I get to a point. Well, let's talk about the website for a minute,
Yep.
because my I went through your Instagram and your TikTok videos and went, oh, I mean, I'm supposed to look at my website after I built it. So how
Yeah.
often should people be adding new content or doing things on their website? Dog trainers, any business,
Yep.
to stay fresh. Yeah.
Yeah. So great question. A lot of people, not just dog trainers, just business owners as a whole, they'll spend like a ludicrous amount of money, like 50, $60,000 on the high, not even high end, mid end of building a website. And I'm not suggesting it doesn't cost that much to do, and you can do it yourself for like, I think $200, and you can make a really nice website. But I'll get to that in a bit.
Hmm.
You they spend all this money building this, really expensive website, and they're like, cool, it's up, it's good, and it's shipped, it's up there, people can see it, the
I
world's there
know.
to see it, and then they don't think about it until the next time they need to do a redesign, or somebody says like, hey, something's broken on the site, and they're like, what, how long has this been broken? We don't know. The leads haven't been coming through, like, so you need to be going onto your website, like logging into your website at least once a week.
Okay.
And if you're using something like WordPress, update the plugins, update the themes. Like there, you just click a button and it'll update everything for you. You can set it to auto update, but sometimes there's an issue where something doesn't update and you just need to manually go in and do it. So for content, updating content on your website, I recommend at least once a week writing a blog post on your website. I know, I see your eyes right now. You're like, that is a lot. Like, how am I ever going to do that? And realistically, with ChatGPT, and if you are an expert in your field, you can get ChatGPT to write you an outline, or, just come up with some ideas for you. And then you can use your expertise to elaborate on that. So
Mhm.
I never recommend starting from scratch. Like, don't just pull up a blank page and be like, okay, what do I write about? It's like, I have an idea. I want to talk about how to train dogs not to jump, right? Or the 5 signs that your dog is, I don't know, getting old or has this other thing. And you don't only need to talk about training topics, you can talk about adjacent topics as well. So it's like 5 signs your dog might have worms. I don't know. That just might be a bad example, but like 5 signs this, or like, what is the best type of dog food to feed this style of dog, or a puppy, or an adult dog, or a large dog, or a small dog, like all this kind of stuff. And if you're a professional, you'll be able to make those recommendations. And you don't necessarily need to talk about food or health issues or anything like that. You can talk about other things as well, like, here are the 5 best dog parks in your city, right? Talk about stuff like that, or like 5 dog friendly cafes or bars or restaurants or whatever it is. So when somebody comes to your site, it's very clear, like, oh, you are a dog trainer. You are the resource in my area for all things dog. If I have any questions about my dog and that I'm not going to go to the vet for, I'm coming to you. You're my number 2 person about my dog, right?
Yeah.
So that's all kinds of content that you could write. And at the end of the day, or end of the year, I should say, if you do one a week, you'll have 52 new pages on your website with dog rich, dog friendly, rich content that people are looking for, and they're going to see you as the expert. Now, on the
Yeah,
other
you
hand,
bring
if you
up a
do,
good.
sorry, I was going to say, on
Mhm.
the other hand, if you do once a month, you're going to have 12. But guess what?
Yeah.
Like, Susie next door is doing once a week. And if you can't keep up with her, then unfortunately, she's going to beat you out, and she's going to be seen as more of the expert.
So that's a good point right there. She's going to be seen as the expert. And I'll keep in mind, I've been doing this for 20 years.
Yep.
And I started off training retrievers for field trial competition way before that. And in those days, the adage was good trainers are training dogs, are not writing books. So
Yep.
yeah, there's tons of books out there. They're not necessarily the best trainers. So that's a mindset shift for me, because I can hear people listening to this right now go, oh my God, once a week? Like, how do I manage that time? So I need to bring someone on the show to talk about time management, because it is a time to have your most creative thinking. You also brought up a really good point about Chat GPT. And initially, you have some super ideas here.
Yeah.
Give me 5 ideas, or give me 10 ideas, but also it's a lot easier to train chat for your language and style than it is to train your brain to look at a blank page and put something on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And something to get around writer's block as well. If you don't want to start with ChatGPT, you can literally, dog trainers are on walks all the time, and they're not necessarily training a dog that whole time. They might be walking their dog, or, just walking somewhere or driving. what you can do is open up a voice note on your phone and just talk about one subject for as long as you can. Exhaust everything about that possible topic. And when I say topic, I mean micro topic. Like how to get your dog to stop jumping, I would say is like a micro topic. And you
Right.
could probably even go smaller than that. How to get your dog to stop jumping at the mailman or mail person, right? That's something you could just you're walking, you're on a walk, you're just talking. It's like, okay, so the first thing that you should do is blank, 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 blah, blah, blah. And then you're just talking through the entire thing. It's like, and finally, after 6 weeks, your dog should not be barking at the mail person coming to your door anymore because of X, Y, and Z. So if you have any other questions, let me know. You can send me an email, blah, blah, blah. And all of that, you can just get a transcription of that. You can upload it to the internet. It'll give you the transcription, and then that's the start for your blog post.
Yeah, you can put that in chat and ask them to make it nice.
Yeah, exactly. And then you could go and like freshen it up.
That's right. That's right. Let's talk about the importance of SEO and digital marketing and giveaways. What's an ideal? It took me a long time to learn what a lead magnet even was.
Yeah.
I had this really, I just didn't have any concept of what's a lead magnet. That's once again, it's a 7-year-old question. What's a lead magnet? Not something that sticks on the wall. So, or on how can that help with our marketing and getting seen more?
So a lead magnet doesn't have anything to do with SEO or showing up higher on Google. What a lead magnet is for anybody listening, it's a free giveaway of a resource. So this can be a training video, this can be a checklist, this can be literally something like I was going to say literally anything digital that you can give away that doesn't cost you any money but provides a lot of value to the person looking for it. So, for example, you can run Facebook ads with a lead magnet that says getting a puppy soon. Here's five things to train them to do before they turn 4 months old, right? If you want to have those good behaviors, whatever it is, that's just an example. It's probably not a good example, but do stuff like that. And then if people are like, oh, I'm getting a puppy soon, they see this article or they see this, not article, they see this link, then they're like, oh, I'm getting a puppy. I'm going to sign up for this so that I know once I get that dog, I'm going to be the best trainer, the best owner in the world for that dog. And then in your lead magnet, whether it's a video or whether it's a PDF, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like I've gotten thousands of people to sign up for my email list by giving them away a spreadsheet. Like nothing crazy, especially they have to fill in themselves. And that could be what you do too. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. It's just going to take too much time, so I won't. But with that lead magnet or that free giveaway, that free resource, people sign up, then they get put onto your email list. You can send them emails.
Question: how do they sign up? Like that, people, dog trainers especially, always want to give away stuff. Yeah. And now and especially if they're new, they think the more they give away, the more people will like them. But how do they make sure that they have gotten something of value from that? In other words, I'll give you this, but what do I need from them? They don't want to charge for it, but they want to get something in return. And what's that about?
Yeah. So always get somebody's first name and email address at the bare minimum. You don't need anything else after that. It'd be nice to get their phone numbers to be able to text people, but unsolicited texts don't really fare that well. So if you have somebody's email address, you can be like, hey, I'm going to email you this PDF or email you this video. Once I give you their email address, they get redirected to a page that has that resource on it. They can download, they can print, they can do whatever they want. That's a whole process to set up. There are easy ways to do it. I'm not going to explain that right now because it's going to go over everybody's head, even my own. When you're listening to this, if you don't have a screen in front of you to see what I'm actually doing.
And I hear that. It isn't just here. You can have this if you send me your email, and trust me, I've done that. You can have this
actually. But speaking of unsolicited texts right now, I just got one from somebody, SEO specialist. Hi, who is that?
Yeah.
Why are they on WhatsApp?
I call that spam, and I go delete and block.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Sorry, you were saying.
Well, that's the other part about digital marketing. Facebook ads. Facebook ads? Paid ads on, I guess, Google.
Yep.
So what I'm seeing more of, we used to get junk mail in our in our mailbox. Now we get
Yeah.
junk mail in our inbox, but we also get it on text messages.
Yeah.
Is there a way around that? Is there protection, like sort of quote spam protection for that or not? Do you know, as a digital
Um,
marketing specialist, what do you put in place for that, if anything?
so are you referring to if we are sending out a message, how it gets past spam,
Well, if
or
you
how to
post
prevent
something
people from spamming you?
like, yeah, if you post a Facebook ad or
Hmm.
a promotion for something to give away, it seemed like I just went on even my website this morning with my blog, and I had like 50 comments there from spam comments. Let's just keep
Yeah.
it nice and simple. I don't know where they come from, and I don't know how to stop them, but you have to stop them. But if it's now they're coming through text messages, like, is there a way around? Is there something that I need to be doing word wise or SEO wise that will change that, or is that just where we are now? I don't know.
No, the more public you are with things, the more unqualified calls you're going to get, unqualified texts or emails or whatever it is. And that's just the name of the game. Like if you get 100 leads, 50 of them might be bad, but ideally, if you are sending out the right messaging online, most of those leads should be good. If you're getting a lot of bad leads, and they're asking about something you don't offer, you need to make that clear on your website or your Google business profile or social media that that's not something that you offer. So people stop asking about that.
Right.
But there's no real way around it. Like the information's out there. And if somebody can find your email address or phone number, they are going to abuse it. And
Sure.
there's like with your Google business profile and even your website, like your email address and phone number should be listed on those things publicly. So there's no way really around that.
Right. You mentioned Google reviews, 5-star reviews, and
Yeah.
if you have all 5-star reviews, that's a good thing. But it makes it more authentic when there's some that aren't 5-star reviews, and you comment on that. But then that's also where the big spammers come in. They leave you a 1-star review, and they don't say it. You don't recognize the name, the email.
Yep.
There's no information, so it's a heads up and beware of that. So an overall clean 5-star ranking is great, but there's the spammers take care of that. They help to bring it down, unfortunately.
Yeah. Absolutely.
One of the things that what was I going to ask here? Just pause for a second here. Oh yeah, video content. You talked about. I want you to. Can you share with us? Like, I looked at your TikTok and your
Yep.
Instagram. And there's definitely an evolution there from your earlier ones to your higher ones. So what's the secret? What's the secret to getting thousands of hits and thousands of people? What your TikTok videos are brilliant. They're very close up and it's just to the point and then it's
Yeah.
gone. So you've got some pretty good standards in there, like a process. Can you share some of that?
Yeah. So again, not related to SEO, but I'm very happy to share
Hmm.
this because you think posting one blog post a week is a lot. My secret is not like talent, it's not skill, it's brute force. I've only been posting since like mid-January this year on both Instagram and TikTok. Before that, I didn't use social media for like good 5 years.
Yeah,
I
okay.
started posting once a day, every single day. I decided I'm going to do it for a year on Instagram. I think I'm at like 73,000 followers already. TikTok's a little bit slower. I think it's like 8 or 10,000 followers, but like that's 8 or 10,000 people. Like that's a lot of
Mhm.
people. Get that many people in a room. You need a stadium almost, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's yeah, I've been doing
Yeah,
it
sure. And
brute
it's
force.
looking for SEO. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You
And
want to look for
like
SEO.
and these are all people looking for services to learn my like the service that I offer, and I do like 100% educational content. Um,
Hmm.
but the thing that I started doing to even up the ante was instead of posting once every day, I started posting 3 times every day, 3 videos every single day. So filming video, like coming up with a concept, maybe writing a little script, doing some ad lib, filming it, editing it, and then posting it 3 times a day. And when I started doing that, that's when I
That's a
really
lot.
started taking off. Yeah. And
Hmm.
just looking at the analytics every single day. So every time I post a video for the first couple hours, I look at the analytics and then I'll go back a couple days later and just like, I'm not doing any crazy analysis. I'm just looking like, how did this post do versus this post? Why does this video have more views than that one? And a
Hmm.
lot of the time it's because the thing I was talking about wasn't interesting, or it was interesting and I just introduced it in a really poor way or a suboptimal way.
Okay. Okay. Is there a way to optimize that? Like, I know in the YouTube descriptions or something, whereas Instagram and TikTok, there's no real text boxes or anything.
There are you can put text on Instagram and TikTok. I trialed for a while having really long descriptions. I trialed using hashtags, not using hashtags. I can do a one sentence description that doesn't mention anything that's in the video, and not use any hashtags, and it'll do just as well or just as poor as the next video, all based on how I hooked somebody into watching that video and the value that I provided.
So the value is in the hook. Is that what you're saying? The hook.
You have to promise value with the hook, and then you have to deliver the value after that. It doesn't have to be educational value. Like the promise in the hook could be like, um, in your case, it could be a dog doing, a backflip. I don't know if dogs can do backflips, but it could be a
Yeah.
dog doing a backflip, and it's like, here's how to teach your dog how to do a backflip, and then you just show them like very like 2 second or 3 second clips. Like number one, get them to lay down. Number two, get them to do this. Number three, get them to do this. And this is going to take a 5-week process. And it can be like a minute long video that's just all like cleanly and neatly cut together. That just showcases like, okay, you promised, here's how to get my dog to do a backflip, and you showed them, you delivered on that promise, and then the dog does a backflip at the end again.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's going to be different for every industry. You can have like visual hooks as well to hook somebody in instead of like an audible audio hook. You could have text on the screen. Like there's so many different ways that you can hook people into a video. But once you find something that works, keep doing more of that and keep doing iterations of that and test.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's perseverance, like you say.
Yeah.
So this is exciting. We could talk all day here, I think.
Yeah.
More questions. Next thing. SEO is not something that is, bedtime reading. It's, so let me rephrase that.
Mm-hmm.
How can people find it more particularly? We had talked before about resources for dog trainers.
Yep.
In addition to what you already have, but tell us more about how people can learn how to enjoy not only talking about SEO the way we have today, but working with it, how they can learn more from you.
Yeah. I have a bunch of courses available. I'm actually working on a course right now specifically for dog trainers, how to build your own website, what types of resources to put on your website, how often you should be blogging, the local SEO stuff you should be doing with your Google business profile. So all of that's going to be available. I do have some free stuff as well that will be available that I offer literally to everybody. This will teach you like the basics of SEO in a way that is not complicated. So one of the main things with SEO and writing content for your website is it needs to be so easy to understand that a 12-year-old can go in and read it and understand that. If you can't communicate in that way, then you're not doing proper SEO. I try to communicate everything for an even younger age. So anybody watching this, you should be able to understand what I'm talking about and learn SEO. And if you can't understand it or don't understand it, let me know and I will simplify it even more and re-upload that video. My goal is to educate as many business owners as possible, and that includes dog trainers.
Dog trainers are business owners, and many dog trainers don't understand that. So this is a really excellent launch point. Your free course is outstanding, and I'm excited for the course you're putting together for dog trainers because it will answer so many questions that boggle the minds of startups. An ebook, E-Myth Revisited. There's three pillars to business. There's the technical expertise, there's the management, and then there's the admin at the end. And most of us jump into dogs because we love it, because we're good at it. And that's all we want to do. And at the end of the day, oh my God, what about this? You mean they got to find me now? What? What's this stuff? So this is really exciting, particularly for the rate at which the dog training industry is growing right now. I think it's the fastest growing industry in the marketplace.
Wow. And just an FYI, if you're listening to this podcast, the course is available now. I haven't finished it right now, like as we're filming this, but it will be done by the time this podcast launches.
And the link will be in the show notes.
Yep.
And they'll also be able to. So where else can they find you? We'll put the link to your other ones in the show notes. But where else can people find your expertise and learn more of your brilliance?
Yeah, you can find me anywhere on the internet, basically. If you just type in Matt Diamante or HeyTony, all one word, or HeyTony advertising, that's me everywhere. You'll see my face. If you're watching or if you're listening to this podcast, you're not going to see my face, but you'll see a face of a guy with glasses and dark, weird hair. Sometimes that's messy. I'm like currently just brushing through my unkept hair. But yeah, that's HeyTony.agency, I think is my handle everywhere, or HeyTony Agency.
Where does the name Hey Tony come from? I'm curious.
Okay, that is a question I get asked almost every single day at this point. Because people are like, is your name Tony? Is your name Matt?
Yeah, exactly. That's
So it actually, I was walking to lunch one day from an office I had downtown Toronto, and I overheard these two big, really burly construction guys, like, like the manly men, working on the streetcar tracks. And the one guy goes, "Hey, Tony, you always know how to put a smile on my face." And I just thought, like, when do you ever hear that kind of vulnerability between, like, especially like manly men, like the big burly, like not
yeah.
emotional guys at all? When do you
Right.
ever hear them communicate, "Hey man, you make me happy, you put a smile on my face, you bring joy to my day"? And I was like, that's the kind of transparency and feeling I want to have between myself and my clients.
Lovely. What a
Yeah,
great.
so I called it Hey Tony.
Yeah, cool. And it's working obviously by the look of your social media follow. Yeah. All right. So I think that's do you have anything else? One last parting thought that you want any new business owner, whether they're dog trainers or startups, new entrepreneurs, that you want them to take away?
Yes. If you're not willing to do it, somebody else is willing to do it. So work as hard as you possibly can, show up every single day. Because like I said, if you're not showing up for yourself every single day, somebody else is going to be showing up for themselves every single day.
Excellent advice. And go for the long game.
Yeah, it's a long game. Commit to it. Like, try something for a year. That's what I did with social media every single day for a year. And it took about 6 months before I saw any tangible results. And I think I'm stuck now. I have to keep doing this until I die. So just beware. If it works out, you're just gonna have to keep doing it. And I'm not complaining. I love it. It's really great, but some days are a struggle.
Yeah, it takes on a life of its own, and that's the thing. Most dog trainers that I know that are successful can't envision the end, because every day there's something new, and every day we move on to
Yep.
something else. And SEO is just one small piece of those new things that come up. For you can teach an old dog new tricks. You're looking at that here. I mean, it's something that we have to keep evolving with every day. So it's been a
100%.
slice. Thank you so much for your expertise with us. I'm excited about the course that's coming up specifically for dog trainers. And everybody, check out Hey Tony and Matt on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You'll love his videos. Honestly, you'll love them. They're quick, they're snappy, and they get to the point, and you'll walk away with brand new stuff every day.
Awesome. I
Okay.
love that. Thank you
Thanks,
so
Matt.
much, Karen.
You're welcome.
Cheers.